Hello, my lovelies. Today I'm going to be plugging my comic Ladyphilia. I was mostly inspired by people doing like those talking about my OC lore type videos, and I just wanted to talk about my characters, but also plug my comic Ladyphilia, like I just said, which is currently publishing on Comic Fury. I'll leave the link to my card in the bio so you can go check it out if you want to support that. If you're a follower here on YouTube, or I should say subscriber, you'll know that I've made a lot of my animations or my animatics surrounding them, so you've probably seen the faces of my characters before. But if you want to know who I'm making these animations about, you can go read my comic, which is currently in the publishing stage. I'm working on chapter 2 right now, and it would mean a lot if you guys could go check it out. I do want to mention that my comic does have some content slash trigger warnings. Despite it being a lesbian romance, this isn't sunshine and rainbows. We do have some erotic or mature themes. There are some darker themes, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say here on YouTube, but I will put the content warning on the screen. But with that out of the way, I want to jump right into my first character, the main character, love of my life, Sonnie Mano. To start, the comic takes place in a fantasy world, so there's probably going to be a couple terms I'm throwing at you guys, but I'm just going to expect y'all to kind of pick it up as we go, alright? So, Sonnie is what's called an anima, which is essentially half animal, half humanoid ish in this fantastical world, and she lives in what's called the Valley Vera, which is within the greater jellyfish kingdom. Anima aren't as common in the jellyfish kingdom as it is predominantly populated by jellyfish sirens. There are multiple siren kingdoms, but the story primarily takes place in the jellyfish and common siren kingdom, or ComSci for short. Sonnie is the oldest of 3 triplet sisters, and she notably lacks purpose in her life. She uses hard work and pleasures of the flesh to take her mind off this lack of direction in her life. Her sisters' names are Cerise and Kusira, and her mother's name is May. The 3 sisters are under the belief that their father died before their birth and is no longer in the picture. A common tradition among the Virans is something called a Safka, which is essentially a trip that Virans take to leave the Valley Vera to experience the world, often discovering things about themselves, discovering where they would like to live in the future or what they would like to do in the future. Sonnie has put off her Safka because she fears the idea that if she leaves the valley, she'll find something better out there and want to leave for good. But after much convincing, her mom convinces her to take the trip, and this is where we run into our first Sonnie Bae, which is the name of the love interest for Sonnie, Cinna. Cinna is wild and free. She's known for stealing, being hated by everyone in her village, and for being raunchy. Cinna meets Sonnie after a run-in with a butcher, who kicks her out of his shop and slams his door in her face. Sonnie immediately clocks Cinna as insane. Though despite their growing affections for each other, Cinna's demeanor will soon change when she's forced to face the consequences of her past. 4 years ago, Cinna ran away from home, leaving behind her sister and her father in the wake of something horrible. Cinna's sister Lucia struggles to keep control after losing everything. She lives in a society that's deeply trans and homophobic, and one that punishes those who are different. After a horrific breakup with her ex, she's forced to live in the shadow of her father, with nobody to protect her but herself. Lucia's ex, Nicola, is like Lucia. He's a trans woman, but after what happened with Lucia, he's officially detransitioned, believing he's not worthy of calling himself a woman. Nicola's life has always been bad from the moment he was born. He was born with a cleft lip, which is believed to be a sign of a curse. He's considered to be an abomination by everyone around him. Nicola did something horrible to Lucia, the only person he believed to truly love him, and now he grapples with the consequences of his own actions. Alright, I know that was a very short introduction to the characters, but I just really don't want to spoil anything or try to impose any ideas of these characters into your mind. I just wanted to introduce the main cast, and hopefully those introductions will lead you to consider reading my comic, which again, I'll link in the bio. Or you can also learn a little bit more about these characters by going to my Instagram. I often post lore on my stories, and you can learn more about the universe. I also have another completed comic called Mortal, which is in the same universe but different characters. It will also be linked in my card. Alright, I know that video is short, but I've been struggling with posting YouTube videos recently because my editing skills seem to be at an all-time low. So hopefully this short video is entertaining enough and you didn't already click off, crossing my fingers. So I just want to thank you for staying until the end, and I really hope you read my comics. So until next time, see ya!